Hey guys, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/shit I'm 30. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from your phone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. I've been a long time customer of Audible, and actually I was just told by my friend Mandy that she is listening to a book called Manifest Now, and it is available on Amazon. So if you would like to read about manifesting your life and your love life work, it is called Manifest Now by Adil Ahmed. She is loving it, and I think I'm going to make it one of the next books for my Mixed Minds book club that I'll be giving you more information about. But again, you can get that book or any other of your choice for free at audibletrial.com/shit I'm 30. Now, before we do start the show with an amazing guest, Megan Brown, that I have brought in with me, I want to give a shout out to Melly26 for leaving an amazing review on Apple Podcasts. It says, definitely highly recommended. I was introduced to this podcast by my sister. First time I listened was by attending the live podcast. Best thing ever. Whenever I have free time, I binge listen and love the topics. Being in my early 30s, the topics are very relatable. I love the realness. Thank you so much, Melly. And if you haven't yet left a review, please do so, and you might be the next one I read in the beginning of the episodes. Now let's get started with the show. Welcome to the Shit I'm 30 podcast. This is the weekly show where we discuss and share our unfiltered opinions on topics such as mental health, relationships. Sometimes it gets a little kinky and we talk about sex, parenting, and so much more. With me, your host, Carla Ramirez. Now, my goal is to get rid of society's expectations about where we should be when we're in our 30s and just free ourselves to live the lives that we've always dreamed of. Now, friends, remember, it is never too late. Hey guys, welcome back. Just before we started this episode, I had 4 firemen and a woman inside my house. We first thought they were across the street, so I went outside. Wax was working on the boat, and I immediately said he set the boat on fire. He broke something, or the white people started calling on him. I'm like, they mad about this boat now. They finally called the people on us, and they were across the street. So then I thought the white lady was like calling because that's what white people do, and now I must apologize because we definitely said that was white people doing white people shit, and it wasn't, because then they came to my house and Wax said, hey, they're looking for you too, and I said, oh hell, what's going on around in this neighborhood right now? And they were walking around giving us free fire alarms. So shout out to Orange County here in Florida. They gave me 3 brand new fire alarms and installed them. That's the best part.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought they might have dropped them off. No, they installed them in the place where they should be in each bedroom, and they checked the 2 that I already have. So my house will not be burning down, or if it does burn down, we will not burn down with it. Yeah. Anytime soon. We are safe and good to go. I wonder if those are like, what is it, carbon monoxide ones too?
I don't know if that's a carbon monoxide detector.
Right. But we got a quick little lesson from the fireman saying that people are dying and burning because of our cell phones and our computers. They're catching on fire, and there's just been a surplus of, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Of fires around because of cell phones. So they're just making sure. And I guess it's preventative. It makes sense.
It does.
I guess it costs less to send them street to street to give these fire alarms than to have to come out for a whole fire.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m.
They're not having it.
No. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And then there's lives lost. So, and I'm sure those companies that make them probably donate them.
Yeah. Probably free. Maybe $5.
Yeah. It's free to me. So I like that. They said free. I was like, come in my house. It's cool. No problem. Well, anyways, today I have here on the show this voice, the lovely voice that you guys hear. It is Megan.
Greetings.
Hello. Thank you. First of all, seriously, thank you for coming. I know some people are like, I'm not a podcast person. I haven't gotten much of it, but it's usually the people that don't get invited to podcasts that say that. But I don't know. It's just, to me, I'm very grateful when someone says yes, because it takes time out of your day.
I had nothing to do. You're cool.
Okay. That didn't stop you from a couple dates or anyone fancy you had to go to. Well, before we get started with the show, and I tell you guys who Megan is and why I wanted her to come, we're going to do a quick thing that I saw online, and it was Americans admit to financially cheating on their spouses. And I was like, what is that? Like, financially cheating? I'm like, oh, so immediately my mind went to like sugarbabies.com, women getting money from other men, or men paying for, poom poom or whatever. But no, that's not what it is. It says 44% of U.S. adults have admitted to being financially unfaithful to their spouse, according to creditcards.com. This includes secret spending, hidden bank accounts, and unaccounted credit cards.
Oh, wow.
In addition, 17% of Americans admitted to keeping a secret account, and 12% carry secret debt.
I got a secret bank account.
From who?
From myself.
Wait, you hide money from yourself?
You have to. That's the only way to save.
And you don't know how to get into it?
No. There's no debit card. I don't have access to it. It is like a credit
who has
union
access to it?
in another state. Like it jumps through hurdles for me to get money out of this account, which is what I want. I don't want my savings to be that attainable. So it helps to save.
So what I did with that is I made my savings account. I got a high yield savings account in Discover. So Discover doesn't have a building.
Right.
So it's only online. And if you wanted to transfer money to your account, it does take like 24 hours. You can't go pull money out of it. But what you can do is since there's an account number and routing number, you can pay bills out of it.
That's cool.
So I knew that if there was an emergency of some sort, I can pay for a bill or pay for whatever it was with the account number.
Yeah, smart.
So I did that part. And it's high yield also. So I don't know, is yours a checking account?
It is a credit union checking. No, it's a credit union savings account.
Okay,
so there's a savings rate attached to it.
Check how much it is, because you could, if it's you're saving it that way, you can probably get one that's a lot more. Because usually, I don't know how credit unions work, but I know that in certain ones I have 2%, almost 2%, and regular bank accounts. I don't know if you ever noticed, savings accounts are like 0.01%.
Yeah, they're pretty much trash.
Disgusting. You make like a penny a year while they're using your money all the time. Because if you guys think that your money is sitting there in a vault, it's not. Like banks are literally using your money and investing, and they're using your money. I don't care if it's $50. They're using your $50.
And they gave you a penny.
Right. And you can be at a higher. I remember one year I made almost $500
on
in
the
my
Discover one?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Because at the end of the year, they tell you how much you made. So it wasn't bad. This is when it was hefty, right before I quit, and I had it nice and meaty, so I could quit my job. It dwindled down. Now I gotta work. But
you know what they call those?
What?
An FU fund.
FU.
Just in case you need to say FU to somebody. You got this big pot of money, and you just keep saying FU as it goes down and down and down.
I said FU to corporate.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And that's why I wanted to bring you here, because I've actually talked about you on this podcast before.
That's dope.
And I told you this. So when I was working corporate and I was a cool little accountant, actually, I don't think I got my degree. I went back to school. I think it was after I got fired from there. Right? No, I'm lying. I don't know. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Holy shit. So I talked to you guys about this lady that fired me and damn near everybody else too.
I still remember her name.
So when I said her name on this podcast, right? Y'all got the same last name, don't y'all?
She was the slave master, Jesus Christ.
So we worked at this company and I was a temp.
If that was her real last name.
I know. I feel like she's like a spy or something, that she doesn't belong in this country. So we'll tell you guys about our, what's it called? Our theories on this woman. But I worked at this company and I came in as a temp. It was supposed to be a three month to perm. When I get hired, I don't remember her name, the VP at the time of accounting.
Megan.
Was it her name Megan also? So I get hired and she decides to quit, or she...
quits. Joanne. Yes.
She decides to quit about a week before my 3 months are up to go perm. So she's like, don't worry, like everything will be taken care of. Little did she know that she left us with the devil. Jesus. So now I'm not perm. So it's coming up to a year now that I would be at this company. I'm still a temp. They still haven't made the decision where they're going to keep me on there. I don't even think it was in their mind. They had so much going on. So this Russian woman comes in and she decides to turn the place upside. I don't think she knew what the hell she was doing at any point during this. I've talked about her here like weeks ago, the beginning. My first co-host, I said her name. She's like, we're going to get sued. Don't say that now. I'm like, fuck her. So she comes in, and the very first thing that I did, trying to be nice, at that time, Ayana was still getting medication once a month. So I knew that I had to make sure I had time to take her to go get her shot. So I said, hey, how are you? My name is so-and-so. I just want to let you know that this is my calendar on these certain days. I do this because my daughter has to go get her medication. So a couple of months into it, they put my position up on the computer for perm, right? They're going to hire someone permanently. Everyone got the email but me.
I remember that.
Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. She sends out the email for the position, but does not send it to me. So people start applying, and I don't realize that the position is open until probably like 2 weeks later, when people are like, did you apply? And I was like, to what? Like, you have to apply. It would make sense for me to have to apply. Like, it is what it is. So when I go and talk to her about it, she tells me, oh, I didn't think you want it to be permanent. Since you have a sick child, I don't think you could do a permanent position. Yeah. Bitch.
She was super bold, man.
I've been here this whole time, just like a full-time person. What do you mean you don't think that a sick child? I never said my kid is sick.
Right.
She just has to go to the doctor and get a shot. Like, it wasn't that serious. But what the one thing that stuck out to me the most is how you handled your situation with her. Okay, so before we get started with the story, tell us like who you are, where you come from, and all that good stuff.
My name is Megan, originally from Jersey, New York
I remember
area.
You were really close. Where in Jersey?
Englewood, Bergen County. Yeah,
I remember I told you I lived in Teaneck for a while.
Oh my God, yes! I forgot.
We bonded off of Jersey, and he's from Jersey.
He is?
Yes, he lives in Hackensack now, and he's from Linden. I used to
live in Hackensack. Yeah. That's crazy.
He's from Linden.
Linden? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's crazy. Jersey is a tough state, man. It breeds
Isn't your family
strong
there?
People. Yeah, my mother, my father still live there.
Yeah, I still go over there all the time. Anyway, sorry. I remember we did the exact same thing when we first met. Jersey,
that's crazy.
County.
I don't meet a lot of people from Teaneck. I meet tons of people from New Jersey. Well, you know, Florida's a transplant state, so
right.
And I've been here for like 13 years. I mean, like, what else is there to say?
What do you do?
You know, that's a wide subject.
Very much. I mean, we're going to go into why it's so wide.
Very, very wide. But by trade, I make my living as an accountant.
Yes.
I do. I'm in finance. Been in finance for like 16 years.
It's been that long?
16 years since I graduated college in 2004. I totally told my age right there.
I was in high school still in 2004. I just want to show you that we are both in our 30s, but I definitely was still in high school.
Yes, totally left college, went out to the free world and became an accountant. And I'm like, wow, why did I do this to myself? That was totally not the right way to go. But you know, it paid the bills for 16 years, and it's so still funny. Paying the bills.
It's so funny because the letter that we have today, it's the perfect letter for us, for both of us. So let's go back into the story because before I was let go, basically, I got let go by this bitch. Mm-hmm. She came in and she was awful. She was mean.
She was wilding out, man.
She literally. I still remember one meeting. So in this particular company, we used to have our close meetings. Mm-hmm. And when you're in a corporate accountant, we close our books at the end of the month, which really is the first 5 days of the new month. And on day 5 for this company, we would go into a room, and conference room, and we would spend our day 5 in there like
all day.
And I still remember the salads that we get from this one place.
Oh my God, I was just thinking about that salad.
They were so good. Like a $30 salad for no reason. We had all the extra bells and whistles because we were not paying for it.
Amen.
So they would get us food. We were there all day, damn near into the evening. And this one meeting, which is the week that she let me go, I found some discrepancies in what she was doing. And I emailed her. She didn't change them. So when we got into the room and our controller was there, I can't remember her. Megan. That was Megan.
Yeah.
I just... You know, I don't shut up sometimes. So I was like, yeah, like this is, but I told you. And I emailed you, and I had the email to prove it. So it made her look bad, and I was gone the next week.
She wasn't down with that.
For no reason, too. It was just like, what's the reason? We're just making some changes. But before that, there was also another position open, and that was for accounting manager. And I'll let you take it from there because that's the one that it took me out.
Man, that's a sore spot right there.
I know.
That is still a sore spot to this day. All right, so this lady, she came in there like the Wicked Witch of the West, man. And I was just, the minute I saw her, I knew that she was fraud. Like right deep down and under. I knew like she was, like there was something real off about this lady. And like what surprised me even more about the whole debacle was that other people didn't see it. And these are like college educated people with zero street smarts and like zero intuition.
No, at all.
Because they did not see what this lady was doing. Yo, she used to make my life crazy.
Hell.
I come in there. She was very manipulative. But I tell you what, her words, she was a great speaker. Because she can speak miles around you. She uses this wordplay that gets people on her side and gets her out of trouble. I was impressed, yo. They called Donald Trump Teflon. Hell no. This lady was Teflon, yo. Everything anybody tried to get at her, she would just bounce it off and blame it on you, throw you under the bus. And then she put out this job description for an accounting manager. And they were like, okay, you need to have a CPA, which I don't have. And, they wanted people to apply for it. So I applied for it. And I had a lot of people supporting me and going for this position.
At this point, you had been there, 5-6 years?
Almost like 4.5 when I left. And so I applied for it. I remember going to her for the interview. And the first time I went for the interview, we couldn't even have it because she was just like not even paying attention to me. She was in La La Land with something else going on. So we rescheduled. I finally get the interview with her. It's at 6:00 at night after like a full working day. And she comes up to me and she's like, you got quick time to talk? So I didn't even know this was the interview. So I go into her office. She's like, okay, so let's have the interview. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I started talking to her about my skills or whatever, and she's just like, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, maybe. So, Megan, do you think this is like the right position for you? I mean, I just don't think you're a great accountant. I think, maybe you should try something else. And I was like, damn, like, wow, that's how you feel?
And keep in mind, when I talk about you, I feel like you're the only person that really taught me things. When I went in there, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And you were like, you need to do this and this. Here's your templates. Here, how you get it. You were so patient and you knew it. You knew what to do with that company, which was a fucking shithole inside of those papers. It's like to figure it out, it was a mess. And you knew like the back of your hand what to do within that company. So accounting wise, she was full of shit because you knew what you were doing.
I did. And it was like a gut wrenching to have my boss talk down on me like so bad during an interview. And so she didn't really take me seriously. She took me like as a joke for the interview, and then leading up to the interview, after the interview. And then they hired one of the auditors.
The Indian guy?
Yes. He was one of our auditors, and they were like, this guy's super smart. Oh, he's much better than Megan. And I was like, okay, let's see what he got. No, just playing. I handed in my resignation the first day of his job.
Wow.
I was sitting there. I remember.
I was gone by then.
Yeah, you were gone. like a month later after you left. Yes. And I told you I was right behind you. And I meant that shit.
Yes.
I remember the day before I quit, I had just watched Beyonce's special on Homecoming on HBO.
Oh, you were hyped.
And Beyonce had me ready to tell all the people off.
Suck my balls.
She gave me the confidence I never knew I had. So I brought a yellow dress, went to work the next day, typed up the letter, and it was like...
You typed it on the clock.
On the clock. Typed up the letter and was like looking at my coworkers left and right and telling them I'm about to do it. And they're like, do what? I'm about to hand in my resignation. And I just hit send on Outlook. So it goes out. The new auditor, who is now my new boss. Mm-hmm. So we go out to lunch. After I come back, he calls a meeting with everyone. But he wants to know all of a sudden, why am I quitting this role? And I'm like, I'm glad you asked. Because I wasn't going to volunteer that information. I feel like if he's as smart as he thinks he is, and as other people say he is, he should be able to figure out what's going on. But since he asked, I'm going to tell him. So I told him like straight from the jump, like this lady is like not professional. She is highly manipulative. She's going to throw you under the bus. Like it's coming. I thought I was different. No, she's going to throw you under the bus. She makes like secret arrangements with other people. Mm-hmm. She would start pitting you against your other coworkers. She would start this game of telephone on you. Tell one person one thing, tell another person another thing, and then have coworkers at odds with one another. And like she was just good at it. And she was also, what's a clever way to say this?
What?
Sowing her oats around the office.
Bitch, she was fucking the IT guy, wasn't she?
You didn't hear it from me, but I'm just saying.
I didn't hear it from you. I heard it from someone else.
The rumor was she was being friendly.
Rumor my ass. She was getting that. He ended up leaving his wife.
You didn't hear that from me, but
I didn't. I heard it from somebody else.
It was a third party situation.
Yes,
it was
messy.
It was very messy. But you know what? It's true to her character because she's a messy bitch. So her messiness just infects other people. And
bad, like so bad.
Totally took him down that rabbit hole. So I told him everything that went going down. And you know what? 2 days later, he handed in his resignation. No. So I resigned on that fool. He resigned on them, so like their little star player. I don't think so.
Did he? I didn't know that part.
He resigned. Yep.
So which one was the guy? Another thing that she did, she lets go of me and hires someone right away. And he turned out to be like one of those peeping toms that was in jail.
Oh my God.
Under little girl skirts.
Yo, how did they even miss that? That's why I be saying like HR companies, man, I don't know what y'all be doing. But look, I do better background checks than y'all do.
Right.
All we had to do was Google his name.
That was it. So I was fired one day, and not even a week later, she brings in a white man to take over my position.
Yeah. White is right.
Right. Especially to her. So if you guys want like a picture of what this woman looked like, Russian, dark hair, tall, slim.
Like Salt. If you see Angelina Jolie in Salt,
yes,
but uglier. Go ahead.
Yes, ugly. But she wasn't ugly. There was something about her that made her very like. It's the word intriguing, kinda. You wanted to know more. There's something about her. You're like, what is it?
Curiosity.
Yes, it made you very curious about her. She walked around with.
She was charming.
Very. She had beautiful clothes on all the time. She was dressed right. She had this walk to her. It's like she commanded attention when she walked in. You just didn't know why you were paying attention to her.
Exactly.
Because it wasn't like, oh my gosh, she's so smart or she's so beautiful. But there was something. It's actually out of a fucking Lifetime movie.
What's the con?
Yes. What is the con about her?
Everybody got to hustle.
Listen, and she definitely had one. So she hires this white man right after me. And a week later, I believe he goes ghost and doesn't show up.
Yes.
Come to find out, he was out on bond for going to Publix's, different Publix, that's not grocery stores here in Florida, the lower east side of the country. And he was looking at the little girls or women's skirts with a mirror or a phone.
Nasty.
So that's who she hired, who she like wanted to let go of me so fast to bring this man in.
A pervert. Yeah.
A whole pervert.
A whole ass pervert.
Wow. I couldn't believe it.
Well, it just really shows her attention to detail or lack thereof. She was just so concerned over her own shadiness and keeping her tracks covered that, messiness just infects.
She brought in 2 Russians as well.
She did.
She started bringing in Russians into the company.
And they were related to her. Oh!
No, were they?
Yes. One was like her sister and her sister's husband.
Stop.
The rabbit hole goes deep on this one. I'm really surprised I have not been contacted by the authorities for the lawsuit because this was like a sham.
I'm so mad that I was still a temp because me being a temp, I was the first one she could get rid of.
You were easy
there was
target.
There was nothing holding me back, like legally wise. They can let me go at any point in time. Ooh, I was pissed.
Yeah.
Ooh, girl, I was mad. But it is what it is. Once I got let go from there, it was the perfect time for me to go back to school.
Good for you.
So I did what I had to do. I got a job. No, I don't think I went back to school after that one. I don't even know my timeline anymore. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad that it happened. And I wanted to bring you in here because you tell that story, and I think about your professionalism as a woman of color in a place like that. I learned how to be poised and be around white folks in the corporate environment. And I think you taught me that. That was one of my biggest firms that I worked for, places. And when I saw you and the way you conducted yourself, I'm like, it makes sense. I don't have to turn up. I don't have to go off. I don't have to cuss them out. I don't have to be like, you fucking cracker every 2 seconds. Because you would do it, but without saying it. The way you would speak, you would talk. So how did you learn that? Where did you get it from? how to speak that way. And I know you also follow your dad's footsteps in the accounting because your dad's an accountant. So I don't know if you learned it from him, or how did you learn how to maneuver in this world?
I say that's a good observation, Carla. I did learn a lot from my dad on how to handle white people, because he's in the public eye a lot, and he has to deal with all these different kind of personalities, and you have to deal with people in order to make money. It's just a factor of life. We have to have human interaction from it, and a lot of it is watching television and seeing how white people act on TV screens and in movies, and just learning who they are as a person. Because in order to defeat your enemy, you must know your enemy, and you have to learn, like, what do they listen to, what podcasts are they watching at the end of the day, just so you know how to come at them. And a lot of it is keeping a lot of bass in your voice, definitely changing your inflection, the way you talk when you talk to them, and letting them know logically what's going on. Because as soon as you bring emotion into the picture, they want to call you the angry black woman. They want to say, oh, you're being aggressive. Oh, Megan's just not a team player. No, I'm bringing you the facts.
Right.
And when you keep bringing liars facts and keep questioning them, that's when a person like her gets upset. Right. So as long as you attack people with the facts and keep the emotion on the back seat, you'll win every time. Because some people are always looking for an emotional reaction from you.
That's such a great tip to deal with corporate stuff, because we do get in our feelings, and there's nothing wrong. We are all emotional creatures. We have, feelings, and they're going to hurt our feelings. You're going to feel some type of way, but removing those emotions, like you said, they can't attack you on that end. Yeah. And they can't just say, because at that point it's, and it'll be the woman aspect of it. Oh, maybe, she's too emotional. That's how women are. But the facts that you're bringing, a man can bring up, a woman can bring up, a trans can bring up, like the LGBTQ ABCDE can bring it up. So they can't say anything about it. So I definitely learned that from you on how to like maneuver it, because it's hard. It is. It's hard being a woman, and it's hard being a woman of color in the workspace, especially in accounting. After I left that company, I had 2 more companies that I went to, and there wasn't that much diversity. No, nobody believes I'm an accountant when I tell them. They didn't believe me. They're like, you're a what? No, like, for real. No, I really am. I sit behind and just do numbers and spreadsheet and go home at 5, 6 o'clock. But they don't believe it. And I think with you, it was just you and I, and everyone else was in like APAR that might have looked like us. I actually remember also, so you used to come in with your natural hair and you have tattoos. You were very unapologetically you. Yeah. And I love that about you. And I took that on when I moved to my next place. I was like, I don't like dressing up. So I started just wearing things that I was more comfortable in to work, because you did, and it didn't change your work. But I do also remember, and I think it was her also, comparing you to the manager of AP. And I can't remember her name, but she was like one of the girls that always had like her hair laid and was very girly and very, I don't want to say white because it's not white, but she was just very girly, I don't know, what is the word for that? Pretentious, a little bit. Prissy. Yes, prissy. Princess-like? Yes. Okay. Very princess-like. And she compared the two, and I'm just like, there's no comparison. Yeah. Why are we comparing the 2 black girls? Yeah. Like, for what? What is this doing for you? It pits coworkers against one another. Right. And that's really the name of the game. So, like, people come to her because they feel like if she gives them this information, there's, like, trust being built with the 2 of them. But a liar, you can never have trust with a liar. Right. They're only out for their self-interest at the end of the day. So people who have crabs in a bucket mentality are always looking for a way to get a step up above another person. And so she will find people like that and use them to her advantage, because they're looking to get up by any means necessary. They'll keep stuff from you. I remember I asked for help to study for the CPA exam. I was denied by her for any kind of assistance toward that. They helped somebody else. But I found out they helped somebody else out. And paid for it. And paid for the test and the studying for the test. Right. So I'm just saying there are other people who are willing to put more on the line than what I am. True, because there was a lot put on the line for that. And I'm not the type of person who, I'm not begging
no person, whether you white, black, or yellow, for any job.
I don't beg my mama.
I have my own boundaries, you know? So if that's the way that she went about it and how my other co-workers went about it, I can't hate on them. Everybody cuts their own deal at the end of the day. Just know that Megan wasn't down with that. I wasn't down with working with a lady who is that spiteful and nasty toward me and my coworkers. I wasn't with people who were dumb enough not to see that. And I don't want idiots in my circle.
Right.
Because if you can't see...
And your circle does mean coworkers as well. You spend more time with your coworkers than you do your family, and for sure more time than you do with your friends.
I would catch my coworkers in like lies, and I wouldn't even tell them. I just like file it away like, okay, I'm going to remember that for later because I was looking actually for that answer and you connected the dots for me. And I just found that a lot of people didn't support me at the end of the day. You know, my best friend at work took the position. And that still hurts me to this day because I knew that there were conversations going on behind my back. Right. And I know that everyone is trying to make a better life for themselves. And sometimes you put your own friends on the line and you say that your success is worth more than their friendship. But I tell you what, the joke is on you because me leaving that job, like you said, everything has a purpose. And I hate to say it that she was a catalyst for changes that went on in my life. But like, I thank God for showing me somebody like that. You know, and knowing that my intuition is never wrong at the end of the day. So I would say that leaving that situation with Alina and with that company, it helped me learn more about my own talents and putting my own self out there because a lot of people are going to try and keep you down, right? Especially because you are a woman of color and they don't want to see that.
They don't want to see us at the top. And this was actually a very female-led company, I feel like.
It was. I mean, there were no women of color in senior management.
But they were women.
And
you would think, oh, like women stick together.
They don't.
No, they don't.
53% of white women voted for Trump.
Right. So we also need to be very aware. And I know that I say my white things here and there, especially on the show, but that's not to say that I hate white people. I don't. I just have to be very aware of who I am and who I am to them in their eyes. And regardless of the fact they might come to me and say, I love your hair or you're so cool because we're cool, you know, as me being Hispanic, you being a black woman, like our culture is cool to them. It has more than just salt and pepper. So they see it, right. So they see us and they're like, oh, we like that, but to a certain extent, they will like you to a certain extent. And again, it's not everyone. It's just the reality of it. When their backs are against the wall, they come first. And there's no, maybe she is better. Maybe, you know, we can work it out. It's like, okay, well, they're disposable. We can get another one because all we need is a certain percentage of black and Spanish people in here to make sure that we don't get a lawsuit for being like a discrimination company or whatever.
Right.
And there was something else that you said is that you don't have to sacrifice your integrity and who you are for certain things within your job.
No,
it is a job at the end of the day. Unless if you're a controller or a CFO or whatever it is, you can be a CFO or even whatever of another company. Don't jeopardize your integrity and what you believe in or a true friendship for a job, because even with a friendship within the job, you could take the position. You could do it. Talk to me first.
Right.
Let me know what's going on. Say, listen, girl, this is going on. Like, this is some shady shit. Let's figure out how we can work this together. Because you can then maybe get with that person and say, I can help you, or even help you take the position and be like, let me help you how to get out of here. Maybe you can get a severance payment. Let's figure out how we can get you out the best way possible, even though right now I have to stay.
Right.
Because I might have kids or I have a husband or I have a sickness or I really need this health insurance because I have a surgery coming up. But don't put your integrity on the line because that's going to follow you forever.
I mean, everything was just shady about how it all went down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember Alex.
Oh my, the fine guy from
yes.
Canada?
Yes.
Well, Lord, thank God my man didn't listen to the show because that white man came in. I had the biggest crush on him. I used to record him and send him to my mom. I promise you, I probably still have pictures. I would record him in the meeting rooms whenever he would come from Canada and be like, Ma.
He was a straight up unicorn, man.
Oh my God, he was beautiful.
He was like genuine.
He was so sweet.
He was so down
Remember
to
that
earth.
Christmas party at the car place he came in that suit, girl.
He was very down to earth.
I used to like to watch him eat his salad.
But after I resigned, we would text a lot. And
damn, why he didn't text me?
Well, because we worked very close with one another.
I wanted to work close with him too.
And we just had like a really good friendship. And I remember him texting me. He was like, you have my full support on anything that happens. And that meant something to me, because he knew what was going on. Like, everybody knew what was going on, but nobody wanted to change anything about it
at all.
It was the weirdest situation. But I'm just saying, money ain't everything.
It's not. And if this is your first time listening to the show, go back, and I think I've proven the fact that money does not define you.
No.
Money cannot buy your happiness. You have to already be happy. Money will amplify that. Yes. I just talked about this on Mindful Mondays. I talk about knowing your worth. I show all these rich folks that commit suicide or just unhappy or cheating on their wife, so they end up like cokeheads or crackheads, even on heroin, because they're trying to numb a pain that gets amplified with money.
Guilt. They're trying to numb.
Yes.
All you have to do is just be honest with people at the end of the day, and like, you'll sleep better. Because
I like my sleep.
I love my sleep, and it's like, why would I want to jeopardize that? I just don't even see the point of jeopardizing a friendship over a job. So if you don't have a life outside of your job, people pick up on that this is like your end all be all.
Right.
Like, you come in here, this is like when your life starts, and that should never be the case.
They know how to use you then.
Yeah.
That they will use you in that company to no end, because you have nowhere else to go.
Right.
And they know that if we even threaten you a little bit with leaving, you're going to backstab anybody because you want to keep this job.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So it turns you into like a horrible person. Well, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to bring you on, to just navigate through how to, deal with corporate, being women of color, knowing that, because not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
No one's going to build their own business. Not everyone wants to build their own business, but we can succeed in the corporate world as long as we keep our integrity.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to deal with these folks in there, know that you are the minority in most places, unless it's like a Black-owned company or Hispanic-owned company. But even then, you just have to know how to navigate with people that are in a position that is superior, or they're your managers or management or whatever. Deal with them. But we are switching topics really quick. We are in February. It's like Valentine's from February 1st to the 28th.
Is it Valentine's month?
Yeah, I
hadn't
feel like
noticed.
You didn't know since December when they put it out at the dollar store? Sheesh, we skipped right through like every other week and got straight to Valentine's right after Christmas. It was ridiculous.
Man, capitalism.
Oh, they make so much money. I cannot wait till like the 15th to get all the candy.
Oh, 75% off Russell Stovers.
It's my favorite. The day after Valentine's, I go to CVS, Walgreens, and get all the candy, like 50, 75% off. It's amazing. I don't mind eating a heart-shaped whatever.
Right?
I don't have a problem with it. But this episode, I wanted to talk about embracing the single life.
Yes.
So I know you're single. I don't have much experience in being single, but I do believe that my last about year, although I was in a relationship, I definitely had a very single mentality, and I was working on myself. So I wanted to talk about, what do you do to embrace your single life, to like get better with it, be content with it, be happy being single?
I have been single for quite some time. And just because I'm just so focused on this journey called life. I have a twin sister. So for years, I had to share my life with somebody else. So now that I'm single, I'm just like, wow, I get to do all these things. I get to go out here, get to go out there.
Without someone right next to you.
Without somebody next to me, right? So when I go out to eat, I don't have to call a conference. I don't have to call a meeting and talk and discuss where should we eat, what are our options. I can just go. And that makes me just so happy at the end of the day. I don't have to choose what movie I want to go see. I just took myself out on a date yesterday.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
I went to the movie theaters. It was a nice movie theater over in Winter Park.
The Regal?
The Regal.
The legs go up on that one and everything.
Yes, they do.
I worked
and
right
my
across
seat
the street.
worked.
Yes. I worked in that plaza.
That's a nice place. That's a nice area to work in. I went and saw Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie.
Oh, okay. How was it?
It was good. It was good. I rated maybe about a B minus. But it was a good time. I appreciate good original
Now, when you say a
storytelling.
good time, some people, I know I go out to dinner and I'll go to a bar and I'll explain why I do it in a little while. But for you, when you say a good time, what's a good time? I don't think some people can't comprehend having a good time on your own or being out in public by yourself.
Well, do you know you can get drunk in the movie theater?
Tipsy whipsy in the
I
movie
do.
theater?
I get my hot food because, hot food is very underrated. I get my hot food while that is cooking up in the microwave. I go over to the bar. She gives me a tall Angry Orchard. Oh, which it'll last you through a whole 2-hour movie. And then she had coerced me into getting a shot. She didn't have to work too hard.
Who is she?
The bartender. They're the bartender in the movie theater. This is what I'm saying. You can have a good time.
So I'll tell you another way. She got money. She got money. So the way I do it, the same way, it is Angry Orchard, but I bring it from 7-Eleven in my bag.
Okay.
So I bring two. I would usually do Angry Orchard, and there's another one that I like, Reds.
Okay,
If they have
yep.
Reds. I love Reds. So I'll bring in the beer, or I will get a soda and the little small things of liquor.
Yes.
Make my own mixed drink.
Yes.
I'll be my own. When you refer to she as the bartender, I'm she at my seat. I'll bring a hot dog or whatever chips. Yes, I am the one making noise in the movie theater, like with the chips open.
So you don't open up your bag before the movie starts?
No, right before the movie starts, and I pour it. Yeah, I do put it in napkins. That way, during the movie, I'm not making too much noise. So I do bring all my own snacks. One thing I do get, and it's usually when I'm going with Ayana, it's popcorn and a drink.
Yeah.
But food and candy, no ma'am.
That's crazy. I hate movie popcorn.
What?
I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do the smell. I just can't have it like around me. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
That's weird.
It's very weird. Like it just I don't like it.
Ayana was doing this DIY thing, and last time we went to the movie theaters, she took a straw, because I love butter, lots of butter. So when you put the butter on top, the bottom doesn't get butter. So she took a straw and then put the butter going into the straw. That way it would get to the bottom. So the butter got to the bottom. I was like, where'd you learn this? YouTube. Of course you did.
That's ingenious.
Right? So she was putting it at the bottom and shaking it up. So the bottom of the popcorn, I never get to the bottom anyway. She does. Listen, that is a human vacuum cleaner. She knows exactly how to get to it. But the point of all this is that you can go out. So I've been out before, and I'll go to a bar and to eat. And it's really funny how when you're by yourself, people will talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
They'll buy you drinks.
They will.
They'll buy you shots.
Yeah.
You'll know things about, and this is where white people come great into place, because they see you and you're intriguing to them. And they want to know why you're here, then what do you do? And then you find out what they do and what they're CEOs of and how miserable their life is with all this money.
Networking, man.
Yes. So then I'm like, how can I use you and your money for something, what is your LinkedIn, sir? Because at some point I might need you. So, or even women, you find out just so many stories, which I think I'm going to start doing it more often, just to get content, because you meet really interesting people. But you can go out. I've gone out to the beach by myself.
I love it.
I get my towel, my one chair, and read a book. Hang out there for 2-3 hours and just people watch. You come back so relaxed. Right after I went, my breakup, I was going through that phase, and I would go to the beach. Cocoa Beach is 45 minutes away. Oh, yeah. I drive while Ayana was in school, lay in the water. On the sand, get some sun, and then come back, pick up Ayana from school, and do whatever. I can do that because I don't have a job. But you can do it on a Saturday or whatever it is. Take a day off from work. We have PTO for a reason.
Yes.
And I don't think people use their PTO the way they need to.
I do.
Down to the minute. No, use your PTO and say, you know what? You have 40 hours. Take a day. And do something with yourself. Go get a mani. Usually people go mani-pedis. Yeah, that's cool. But go out to eat. Go to the beach. Go to the pool. Get you a couple beers or wine. Whatever it is. If you want to straight to whiskey. However your day's feeling.
Whatever your day's starting.
Whatever it is. And then do you go on vacations alone?
I do.
Where do you go? Where have you been?
So in 2016, after I quit that stupid company, I went on a world tour. I used my savings and I just started traveling to all these places. I went on a few different solo trips. My first solo trip was
Iceland before or after you quit?
After.
I remember the Iceland one.
I ain't had no business going to Iceland with no fucking job. That was fiscal irresponsibility right there. but I loved every minute of it. The first solo place I went to was Tulum, Mexico.
How was it?
It was really nice.
It seems very romantic.
It's very untouched as compared to like Cancun and Playa del
Till now,
Carmen.
I feel like all of us colored folks have found out about Tulum, and now I see
everybody's going to Tulum. Yeah, it's very remote. You have to take like an hour bus ride from the airport to Tulum, but I went to go see the ruins, sacred cenote.
By yourself?
Yep, by myself.
So how do you do it? You book it, you go, and just talk to people that are there?
I went to Expedia. I booked like a package deal and went to the airport, got there, and I can speak a little of the Espanol, un poco. I get it. I can speak enough to get me by. And I went, and the hotel had bicycles, so I would just bike around Tulum. I had literally lost my mind, like I was not an American in a hostile territory.
Change your name to Megan.
Yeah, they ain't looking for my ass. They know they ain't getting shit from me. But let's see, where else did I go? I also sat on the beach, and I would just think to myself, like, wow, how in the fuck did I get here? How am I now traveling jobless, sitting on a beach in Mexico, and just daydreaming, just thinking about what's the next move? Like, what am I going to do with my life now? Like, what's next kind of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of traveling. In fact, I have another trip coming up this year. I'm going to LA.
Okay.
To Disneyland.
What?
I'm going to Disneyland.
We live in Orlando.
But I need to go to Disneyland for Halloween because they do like the Oogie Boogie Halloween party where they like transform Disneyland into Nightmare Before Christmas. And I need to see that shit before I die. Yes. So that'll be the next trip that I take. But I highly recommend it.
Like, we live at the main one.
I know. But like Mickey's very scary Halloween party, that shit for kids.
I know.
Yeah.
The one here is, I did it once with that. No, actually, I've never done it. I did the SeaWorld one.
Okay. SeaWorld's probably better.
Okay.
Mickey, they just give you candy. I mean,
no.
It's not really much to it.
I took Ayana. She must have been about 4 or 5, dressed up, and it was fun. I can't remember what the name of it is at SeaWorld.
Spooktacular?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I auditioned for that.
To do what?
I mean, wear a octopus suit, whatever. Whatever the good people will pay me to do.
You guys see the point now why I had such a good time working with you? It's like there was always something about you. Now, actually, we can probably talk about this. I want to talk to you about pursuing passions while you're working at your 9 to 5, which is what pays the bills. But we can do that actually going into unsolicited advice because this letter has a lot to do with that. So I feel like we can actually have that conversation by giving her advice on your passion and who you are. So moving on to unsolicited advice. This is where we give people advice. They write a letter in, or I just find something or someone that has written something somewhere, and I feel like they need my advice regardless.
Help the girls, Carla.
Yes, we're going to help these folks out. All right, so this one starts with saying, I am a 29-year-old mother of a 1-year-old beautiful baby boy, and I have been married now 3 years to my college sweetheart. In 2015, I graduated from college with a bachelor's in television production.
That's dope.
Yep. I definitely had my ducks in a row and nobody could stop me back then. I am a type A personality type for sure. Everything had to be done right and on time. I was determined to be a television producer in order to be the change I wanted to see, which was to portray women of color, especially Black women, in a better light because there was so much negative representation on the screen. Although a lot has changed with shows like Insecure and many more, but a lot more work still has to get done.
Amen.
A lot has changed in my life since 2015. Motherhood and marriage playing a big part of that change. My life has taken a major turn. Through the years, I've tried to hold on to my dream by freelancing and as a videographer in order to build up my portfolio, but my kite has not seemed to lift off from the ground. I actually started to feel like I had to pursue production based on an identity that had been attached to me based to my degree. People also identify me in the production light because that is what I went to school for. And I started to lose my passion because of the pressure to withhold that title. Pursuing TV production feels more like a burden than a passion now. I am more depressed than I have ever been, and it's affecting my family. I have a job, and that's all it is, a job. It helps pay the bills. I've been focused so much on working and parenting that I forgot what it feels like to hustle and take chances. I can't determine if it's because my life has changed or I've given up completely. Today, my husband started back to school and started pushing towards his passion in law enforcement. Me, I'm in pending status and I don't like this feeling. He's a great father and pulls his weight for sure, but I feel as though I have lost myself in my new life. I guess my question is, how do you suggest I reach and find my passion again? As corny as this may sound, I'm struggling to find myself again, and I often feel insecure where I am in life professionally because of my age. I'll be 30 this year. Is it too late to find my purpose? Can I really have it all? Thank you so much for reading. Much love, Broken Mama, and Sue will be screaming, shit, I'm 30. So this is actually the perfect letter because I feel like you're a person that still is in the 9-to-5 world. I talk about how I couldn't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. My passion was gone from it, and I was ready to jump off a building if I stayed one more day in corporate. But pursuing your passion, one, because she's only 29, about to be 30, you're nowhere close to being able, like, done with life. But I'm going to take really quick to tell what I think because of the fact that she says she just has a boy. Mm-hmm. There's a few things that she said that stood out to me. She's like, motherhood and marriage are playing a big part. Of course, my life has taken a turn. It definitely has. And she says, in one part, my new life. You do have a new life from when you graduated college. You're with your college sweetheart. So that's like the perfect life. You go to college, you meet the love of your life, you marry, you have this baby. This is what some people can only dream of having. So you have that part down packed. And now I don't want you to feel like ungrateful, like, oh, I'm so ungrateful. I just have to sit here now and take
outlook.
It.
Yes.
And take it because I have what everybody else wants and now I'm unhappy, but I'm just going to sit here. No, you don't have to do that either. I think you love your husband. You love your kid. Embrace being a mom. Embrace being a wife. Your life did take a change. If TV production is not what you want to do anymore, I literally quit a year after getting my fucking degree. Like now I'm sitting here with almost $70,000 in student loans. And I said, fuck accounting, fuck a paycheck. Like I'm just going to take a 90% pay cut basically to pursue a passion. And that's okay. People are not, you're an accountant now by trade, by degree, by everything. I didn't have to stick to it. But then there's people like you. Who got it. And I don't think it's your passion anymore, but it's paying your bills and it's financing you, exploring so many other things. And you're not 29 anymore.
No.
So I want you to take over on that part and pursuing your passion because I didn't do it for very long. I took a year and I said, deuces, let me get out of here. If I got to go stripping and sell a little boom boom, I'm going to do it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. But you know what I mean? I said bye and you're still there managing and you're happy. So tell us how you do that.
Well, I just want to thank you for sharing that different vantage point because a lot of people would have taken the easy way out and said, well, do something different. I like that you champion the fact that her life did change and she's at a different part of her journey and she has to celebrate that. Yeah. You know? I would say that the easiest thing for her to do is to start writing. Journaling is a way out of your head, and it sounds like she's in her head. It sounds like she's in a mental prison of her own thoughts, and she doesn't know how to move forward. Once you start putting that pen to paper and start writing out everything that you're thinking every morning, just start writing down some things. Carry that journal with you, like that composition marble book that rappers used to leave. Yes, that rappers.
I carry them from the dollar store. So if you go to Dollar Tree,
get it from the dollar store.
$1.
Yeah. Use it and just start writing, and then the action plan will come to you. I promise you. I know a lot of people think that they don't have time in the day, but I promise you, you do. Even with a child, you do.
You only have one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still in diapers.
There's so many people who've got like 4 or 5 kids, but they're still getting their dreams done. So what are they doing differently than you are? That's probably what you think to yourself.
Using the full 24 hours.
Action. It's a verb. You got to do something with it. So you think about things differently. Your life is different. You are a wife to a wonderful husband and you have a child. Bridge that gap. If you want to do something that's passionate, how can you bring your family into that? If your family is such an important part of yourself, make it an important part of your hobby, your journey, something that you want to do with yourself, something that's going to ignite the passion from within you. And including to journalism, writing down your thoughts every day, start doing little steps. No, Greece or Rome was not built in a day. Start small. Start saying to yourself, I'm going to take myself out on an artist date. What is an artist date, you may ask?
Yeah, I'm asking.
It's a date where you do something very creative and artistic just for you.
Like what?
Like you may want to go paint some pottery down at All Fired Up in Winter Park.
Oh, I want to do that.
It's so cool.
I want to go on a date there.
They have all the stuff that you can paint on, All Fired Up.
Okay.
And it's similar to ceramics class, if anybody's ever taken that in high school, where you mold the things with their clay. They've got pre-molded plates, what do you call those things? Electrical outlet covers, anything that you can just paint. And you can bring food, you can bring wine, and you can sit there and just paint with your earphones on and just get into that creative atmosphere. And then that's going to spark your creativity in something else. So there definitely is ways that you can break yourself out of that mental prison, and you are not what some piece of paper tells you that you are. The world may see you as one thing when you want to be another. Keep pushing that agenda. Donald Trump didn't get to be president just by saying I want to be president. Nope. He pushed his agenda. So push your agenda. I didn't want people to look at me as an accountant anymore. So I kept pushing my agenda. I kept pushing all these other artistic talents that I wanted people to see before me. And it got to a place where I didn't have to, when people ask me, who am I didn't have to start the conversation off with, I'm an accountant. I am so far beyond that now because I pushed my agenda. So
with so many things.
So many things
going on. You made tutus. I saw that you're doing stand-up.
I do stand-up comedy. I decorate Christmas trees that sell for thousands of dollars. Like there are days where I get bored and I just start Googling contests to enter. I Google things. Stop. I Google anything that I can sign up for and that could possibly bring my artistry to another level. And I just sign up for things and they end up being like just really positive. And just from scrolling the phone, I promise you probably have a phone in your hand right now. You can start scrolling different things that you want to do.
Have you ever tried meetup.com?
I have. Yep. Meetup is good. You have to pay for it. So maybe, Eventbrite could be a way if you ain't got the funds for that, or Facebook groups. There's tons of Facebook groups around there doing different things. So there are avenues if you want to get out the house and maybe do something that involves your kids. So you can take your kid with you and you won't have to experience that guilt that some parents feel at the end of the day. But there are ways to break out of that mental prison and do what you want to do.
Right. That's great advice because I didn't even think about the creative one. I'm going to start doing that for myself because I go into creative ruts sometimes. I'm like, what do I do next? And I get overwhelmed. I have this, then I have my academy for podcasting, and I'm always creating certain things. And my mind just goes blank because I have so much going on. So I need to take some time to go and do something different that'll spark my creativity and what I'm doing here. Yeah, that's such. You're so smart.
There is a book that I want to recommend to people. It's called The Artist's Way.
Let me see. Is it on Audible?
It probably is.
The Artist's Way.
The Artist's Way. It's by Julie Cameron.
Artist or artist?
Artist.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, The Artist's Way. There was an acting teacher I had years ago, and she has passed away. Her name is Yvonne, and Yvonne was a tough cookie. But she taught me about this book, and when I first started with it, I wasn't into it. This book is very powerful, and you have to be in the right frame of mind to do the challenges that this book is going to impede on your life. So when she first gave it to me, I wasn't ready for it at all. I picked it up 2 years later, and it happened to just like give me all this inspiration I need and a guidebook to the what's next. So every time I pick up this book and I feel like I'm lost in the mental prison of my own thoughts, and I'm feeling overwhelmed by all these things that I want to do, I'll pick up the book and I'll just start reading. And it's a self-help book, but it's for the creator in all of us.
And that doesn't mean you have to be a podcaster or a writer or a TV production person. We all are creative in our own way. You come home and you make lunch for your kids in a certain way. You're a creator. You're creating something at all times. Like you're redecorating your bedroom.
Creator.
Or you're putting your clothes together for your husband, for those housewives that are putting things for the week out. You're creating something at home or at work. Yep. You might be at work and you're in retail and redoing the whole front of a store. You're creating something there. So we're all creators. And if you're a nail tech, You're a creative.
Oh, definitely a creator.
So that the book, The Artist's Way, is on Audible. So if you've never used Audible, you can get a free book.
Oh,
so you can use audibletrial.com/shit-I'm30. So I'll tag the information of this book on the notes of the episode, as well as the Audible link, and you can listen to it free, or you can get it like on Amazon or any of that.
Barnes and Noble. Yep.
Anywhere where you want to get a book. That's I love books. I feel like books take you to a different place, and you can take this book and go to the beach and read it while you're there. I think I'm going to talk to my Patreon besties. So hey besties, I know you guys are listening. I want to do a book thing. So I saw this guy, Ryan Plaza. I've actually had him on the show before, and he was doing this challenge to himself, reading 10 pages a day.
Wow.
Of a book.
That's a doable goal.
Very doable. Yeah. So I was supposed to do a mile a day in January, and I failed really bad. But I didn't fail at my fast, my 21-day fast. So, but I did fail my mile, and I feel like it was very doable. I got consumed into what I was doing work-wise and what I was led to during that fast to create, and I did create a lot. But I think I want to start doing 10 pages a day. And once we're done with that, we'll get into our virtual meetings and discuss certain books. And I think it's a way to hold us all accountable to read those 10 pages a day and give, our insight on what we're learning. And that way I can get more books done.
That sounds, wow, that is, some people make resolutions and they just don't stay.
No.
That's probably about the easiest thing you can do. You can do that on the toilet, I promise.
Literally.
You. Yeah.
On the toilet, you can do it the second you wake up. Right before you go to bed, I'm like, let me just get the book and read it really quick. On a car ride, if you're not driving and your partner's driving or a friend is driving, like, give me...
Or if you about that life and you driving.
Just don't drive in the same road I'm driving. Stay wherever you're at. But you can do that. And I think I want to introduce that to my patrons. That way we all start reading books. And this might actually be one of the books that we read.
Yeah, very powerful.
I think I want to do that. Perfect. So we will go into our last segment, and that is one of my favorite segments where I get to do my shit talk. Now, I don't know if you have anything you want to talk shit about or something that has upset you. I'm sure you can find something while I give mine away really freaking quickly. It'll take 2 seconds because right while I was working the notes for this, I last night did my virtual we had a virtual pajama party with my girls from Patreon. They showed up. It was so much fun. We had a great time. We talked about the Aaron Hernandez documentary.
Oh, which was so good.
So good. And did you listen to Gladiator?
No.
The podcast?
No.
So there's a whole, I think it's like 6 or 10 part series called Gladiator. So if you look on your podcast, it's so good. And it takes a deep dive into the whole Aaron Hernandez thing too. The first thing I will say about that is as I'm watching the documentary, and I remember watching the whole thing as it was unfolding also because he went here to Florida.
Right.
So it was a big deal around here in Central Florida.
That was really close to home.
Yeah, it was very, very, although he's not from here, he was just a big, football here in Florida is a big thing. It's huge. Yes. So I just keep watching every time he's on television and on camera, and I just cannot stop thinking. And he is just not the shade of man that I like at all. But he was fine.
Oh, he was easy on the eyes.
Megan,
I wouldn't kick him out of the bed for eating crackers.
I was just like, it was just one little murder. God forgive me. I guess I can forgive you too.
There were like 3 murders, man.
No, I only believe in one. I only believe in one, and that was Otis's. The other 2, when I looked at him, I thought he was not guilty. Yeah. It was just, there was so much about him. He had this like charisma to him. Yeah. He was so handsome. He was just so... There was something about him that made him so likable. Yeah. So that was just a very, very intriguing case. Very similar to Casey Anthony. And I don't know if it's because both of them hit close to home here, but the Casey Anthony one was one that like shattered me big time.
Was she Spanish or something?
White as hell.
She was white? Okay.
No. She just had dark hair. White as hell. I don't think we would... I'm not gonna say that because I'm sure there's some people have, but what happened was, anyways, after I had my virtual pajama party with my girls, Wax is in town, and I realized that I was really hungry, and so was he. He's like, "Yo, we hungry as hell." It was like 10:30 at night, so he found a place to go ordered from Johnny's filling station, and we're like, instead of Uber Eats, let's just drive and go get it because we had to get water anyway. So when we come in, I've never eaten at the other side of the restaurant, and it's an outside bar, and it was like Snowtown. It was so white, and they had like country and like rock music playing, and we only went in to like pick up the food.
Right.
So I'm taking a video of like, because we're at a bar. I thought we were going into the restaurant. So I'm like, how did we end up at like the whitest bar? And I laugh and I put in the video and I'm like, how'd you bring me here? And he's like, because we need food. So I post that. Today I get a DM from someone saying, why do you stay hating on white places? My exact quoted thing on it was, how did we manage to find the whitest bar?
Right.
What? Why did I stay hating on white places? Ma'am, I came here to eat, first of all. So I'm not hating. I've eaten here before. Like I order all the time. So I'm not hating. I said it was a statement. If you look around in the video, we are the only people of color in here. What is the problem? Mm-hmm. You know, I just don't understand why anyone feels the need. I'll never understand it, to come onto my platform where I wrote something and ask me why I am hating on something that I'm really not. Mm-hmm. I have no problem. I'm sitting here about to give them my money. You know, not his, because I want to pay for it. But why? And then she's like, oh, no, it's just messing with you. I get it. Cool. And she's a cool girl, whatever. Like, I don't know her. She's just one of the people that follow me and always interact with. But I just found it so annoying that someone would take something like that. Although I do, and I can see why it would come towards me because I have my method of speaking on the clear folks of this world. I'm not always hating on them, and I want to make that very clear. It's never been hating, first of all. I speak facts sometimes, and those facts, when they mount up, it makes them sound racist, and it's because they are. Mm-hmm. You know, and that might just be the ones I'm talking about. Not all white people are white people.
No, because 47% of white women did not vote for Trump.
Right. So there is an amount of white women out there and white men out there that they're fine. They understand they have white privilege. That's the first thing, like understanding they have a white privilege and how to combat it. And that's great. But this bitch pissed me off, and it was right before you got here. I was just like, what? Why? And I'll never be hating. I've never hated. And if you guys see me talking about certain things and that matter, it's just because that's where I am. And I'm simply stating, it's a statement of where I was and what I'm doing and how it's going down. And if I decide to call somebody a racist prick, it's probably because it's a statement as well and a fact. That's what they're doing. I
mean, if she stopped in Pine Hills at a barbecue place, wouldn't she have the same reaction?
I'm at the blackest bar. And that's it. I found the blackest bar we could have found. And cool. And I would have sat there and also ordered my Philly cheesesteak.
That's right.
You know, because that's what I got. If I would have gone to Kissimmee, I would have been like, what the hell? I ended up with the biggest rice and bean spot in the world. Like, where are all these Spanish, all these fucking Puerto Ricans around here, you know? It was just a fucking statement. It's just because I mentioned the white folks and they want to like get upset. Like, don't come at me getting upset. If you follow me, you know who you're following. You know, like, know who it is, and then you're more than welcome to hit that blue unfollow button at any point in time, or the blocked one. It doesn't matter. Block me, unfollow me. Don't look this way. If it bothers you what I say, I'm never saying it in a hateful way because I have no hate in my heart for anyone. Sometimes I wish I did. Save me a lot of heartache.
Don't you?
I'm like, it would save me a lot of heartache, you know, to just be like, fuck you. And like, I'm just not that person, you know, and even people that have hurt me, I have no animosity towards. Anybody can come to me, even if they did me wrong. They can come to me and speak to me and I will be perfectly like open to it just because I don't hold grudges. But has anything happened to you, or have you seen something that you're just kind of like, ugh, let me talk some shit?
Well, you know what turned my stomach the other day?
What?
We all know Kobe Bryant passed away.
Oh, yes.
And his daughter. And rest in peace to all the other survivors on the plane crash. But with Kobe,
were there survivors?
I'm sorry. All the other victims on the plane crash. Thank you.
Okay. I was like, I missed something here. This is new. Breaking news on the Shit I'm 30 podcast.
Super sorry. Slip. But Kobe was obviously the most known out of all the victims. And there was an interview done by Gayle King where she was interviewing one of Kobe's longtime friends, Lisa Leslie. I think that's
legend.
her name.
Yep. The one woman that dunked for the LA Sparks. I remember that.
LA Sparks, yes. And I know a lot of people didn't really like that interview. I saw the clip. I could say it was in bad taste, especially if that was a family member. Like, say for instance, I am Kobe's oldest daughter.
Right.
That interview is not going to sit too well with me.
And she's 17, almost 18 years old.
Yeah, so she's very well aware of what's going on and being said about her father. And there was a lot of outlash against Gayle King.
And Oprah. She kept too.
And, you know, I think people are totally within their rights to be upset and to voice their tell them why you're mad posts on Twitter and Instagram. But what pisses me off is I follow Snoop Dogg on Instagram, and he was very vocal about his disgust over this Gayle King interview.
Listen,
and
who was he asking the question when he said, "Can I call her this?" Who was he talking to?
I don't know, but he called the lady a bitch, and I was just like, wow. I feel like we all felt the shift when Kobe Bryant died, and we all felt like this need to be better towards each other.
Yes.
So for that to happen, it kind of really set me off, because no man should be calling any woman a bitch. If you are hurt, learn a new vocabulary, learn a way to express yourself instead of calling people out their name. Because if you want to enact change, if you really want to get to Gayle and let her know that you are feeling upset, calling her bitch is not the way to go.
To quote him specifically, he said, and I quote, "Funky dog ahead, bitch.
Oh my
Respect
God.
the family and back off before we come get you." That got to me.
Oh, that's a lot. Because that's still our elder at the end of the day, and that's still somebody who we share this earth with. And I don't mean to be on no kumbaya shit, but I just know that if I was Gayle Taylor and I knew I did an interview as a journalist, and I asked a question that a journalist would ask, and I know that it's going to be some risk involved, I'm signing up for that. I already know that off the bat. But what I think is inappropriate is this day and age in social media, when people feel like they can just call anybody any kind of names, because if anybody called me and talked to me like that, I'd have a real issue with that. If anybody talked to Snoop Dogg's daughter like that, he would have an issue with that. So,
and if his daughter were to become a journalist and she would do a hard interview like this one and happen to ask a question, I believe everyone makes mistakes. And I think Gayle approached it and said, you know what, the network took that clip and made it go viral. She's like, it was in bad taste, and it was out of context from the whole interview, which makes sense. Most people now go outraged off of clips instead of hearing everything in the conversation. Two, I believe that you can't tell people how to react. So although I understand where Snoop was coming from, he's very close, I believe, to Kobe, and they had a relationship. He's in LA. I know LA just had the Nipsey thing going on. If he decided to call her out her name, some people do that regardless. I know some people was like, oh, it's a black woman and a black man, don't do it. I do understand that. If he was pissed and that's the way he said it, all right, cool. But what I had a problem with is not cool, but he did it. That's how he reacted, and we can't stop that.
That's right.
But I do started realizing that after he puts that out and his stuff goes viral, now everyone wants to make and attack Gayle as well. And at this point in time, it's not because Snoop was hurt. Snoop was in pain. And he also needs to realize he has a platform that influences millions and millions of people. Now he has people that look up to him. They're like, I'm going to do what you do. And now you have millions of men, black men out here disrespecting a black woman because of how you felt. And they're not doing it because of how you felt. They're doing it now for clout and likes and attention and follows, just to hurt this woman that was doing her job. And she already acknowledged what she did wrong. So at this point, leave it the fuck alone. She gets it. She heard you. She got the point. Maybe I shouldn't have asked that question. Or if I asked it, you know what? It could have been in bad taste. But if she didn't ask it, somebody else was going to ask it. Somebody was going to ask it. And
somebody did ask it.
The white folks have been doing it since the day he died.
And I didn't see anyone really. I know she was getting death threats, but not to this level that Gayle King is being exposed.
We do it to ourselves. It's like we go harder on us, and I get it. Maybe we should go into the bar, like, you fucked up. Let do something else. What you gonna do to make it better now? Let's go in that manner instead of like I don't believe in cancel culture. I think it's bullshit. Cancel for what? It's not that serious. I do know that it is something that impacted his family. They're still very much mourning. It's still very fresh. But these interviews were going to get done regardless. And at the same time, there was another black woman in that interview, Lisa Leslie, that answered everything the way she should have and shut it down and said it's not part of his legacy, period, point. But let's focus on that. Why don't we focus on the answer? So then these white folks that are asking these questions, trying to pin him now as this aggressive rapist, which he was not, because he was acquitted of. And there were so many different facts within that. What year was this when it all happened? Do you remember?
Marty McFly would have to go back to the future, girl. It was so long ago.
It was so long ago that we're so stuck in whatever clips we're hearing that we're not realizing, go back to the facts, y'all that are calling him a rapist or think that he had anything done. He was not only acquitted of it, or it was dismissed. The woman that he acknowledged her and said, maybe she did think it would happen. She had mental issues. They found like 6 different semens on her during the time.
And she chose not to testify.
Right.
Which was a big part.
I don't even think she wanted to press. It was something crazy. The point is, it was dismissed. And is it part of his legacy? I think it's part of his life. I think it will be brought up because that case impacted him.
It's a chapter in his story.
It was definitely a chapter. I was having this conversation with Wax because it's not, if you die, like he talks about a case, my boyfriend, that he had a couple years back. He's like, if I died, it's going to be brought up. You know why it's going to be brought up? Because it impacted your life and it changed the trajectory of your life. And that case changed the trajectory of Kobe's life. He lost endorsements. It was the famous press conference with his wife right next to him.
Yeah.
Who's going to forget that?
He had to buy her like $1 million pink ring.
I think it was $4 million.
This was crazy.
A huge ring that everyone's like, holy, it was the biggest ring given out here like in forever.
Yeah, so that was big news.
These were all things that impacted Kobe's life and what we think about Kobe. So is it part of his legacy? In a way, yes, but it's not who he was.
Exactly.
So it will be mentioned. So we don't need to mention, we're not mentioning him as a rapist. We're just saying this happened to him. Right. And he took this, and we need to see how he handled this and still became who he is. How impactful his life was, how impactful of a man he was, that he still changed the world after going through something like that.
Right. And I think that was after his daughters were born, right? After that, maybe the oldest one was
I'm not even sure. Let me see when it was.
But Kobe Bryant was doing his thing as a father.
Yes.
Up until the day he died. And I think that's what people need to focus on.
2003. Wow.
Okay, yeah.
17 years ago.
That was so
So his daughter might have just been born, his oldest one.
Yep, might have just been born. So like they recovered and had 4 girls after the fact. And he was coaching his daughter's basketball team. He was all about his daughter. And I feel like that's what people should focus on, is the fact that this is a sports tragedy that I think I've never experienced in my lifetime. Something like this happening.
Because Nipsey didn't hit me that hard. No. Because I wasn't a fan of
right.
his. I liked his interviews. I liked his train of thought and what he was doing for the community. I would watch his interviews. But it didn't. It was big, but didn't impact me like that.
Yeah, this was a straight up shift. A global shift that the whole world felt. And I just think it's so disrespectful. The man died with his daughter.
Baby girl. And he died for a second with Rick Fox.
Yeah.
But then Rick Fox came back to life.
Thank the Jesus for that one, because we need to hold on to all the men that we possibly can.
Absolutely. Right. But finishing off with the Gayle thing, I get where you're coming from. I also think that we can't predict how someone's going to react off of what you do. Like, if you might say something, or somebody might come and say something to you, you might just be like, okay. My reaction might be to punch him in the face. Hey, you chose to say those words. You don't know how someone's going to react. But at this point in time, I think everyone else is doing it for clout.
Yeah, agreed.
It's definitely all for clout. So I think we're going to wrap up this interview. Thank you so much for coming on. Me. Now I want you to tell everyone, I know you have all kinds of things that you do. So where can they find you? How can they follow you? How can they purchase from you? How can they support you? Because you're pretty fucking cool.
Well, thank you so much, Carla. Thank you for having me. This was super fun. Hope to do it again.
Yes, absolutely.
An interesting kind of topic. You can find me under my stage name. Stage name is Kat Stanley. You can find me on YouTube. There's plenty of clips for you to check out. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram.
I didn't know you had a YouTube.
Yes. Tons of videos up there. Just showing people all the creativity I put out there. Send them to me. Like, don't ever feel scared, guys, to put your gifts out there to the world. I promise you, there's going to be one person who's going to pick up your wave.
Somebody. Yeah. And sometimes it's not even about becoming viral or so famous. I speak to everyone about, because I do my coaching for podcasting, and I have heard big platforms say, if you don't have a following, you shouldn't start a podcast. That's not true.
That's not true.
It doesn't matter who you are. You're at your chapter 5. You could be impacting someone who's at their chapter 1. Your story is so powerful. Your expertise is so powerful. If you were to start a podcast and talk about your journey, there's someone that wants to have that journey as well, that can relate to you, and you don't know who you can impact. You can then do seminars. You can do all these things. It doesn't matter about being viral or like this crazy known person.
Right.
I'm making an income. I'm making a living off of talking on this microphone. And who would have known? I was sitting behind a desk for so many years, you know, and this wasn't it for me. I didn't know this would be it for me, but me exploring my creativity got me to where I am right now. So whether it's YouTube, I think if you do your sewing or whatever, if you create a YouTube while you're sewing, you put a camera up, you might be teaching somebody how to do something.
That's how I learned to sew, was on YouTube.
See? So you get to do all that. Oh, I might have you sew something for me. Yeah, you just never know. Don't be scared to put out because who's going to listen to it. I was on my last coaching session. One of my students said he deleted an entire episode. He's like, I was just scared who's going to listen to it. Yeah, he's like, I was talking about my ex. And that's your story.
I bet you that shit was fire.
I bet you it was so good. He's like, no, I just feel like I was putting out too much information. That is your story.
What?
Someone else is going through that. So he's like, I outed her. It doesn't matter. You're not saying her name. Some people that know you will know who she is, but most of the world won't. Or they're like, there's just people on my Instagram. I don't think I want them to know about my podcast. Why? You're showing it to the rest of the world, but you don't want these 5 people to not judge you, to not care about what you're saying. Don't worry about anyone else has to say about you. They ain't paying your bills.
The world
and they don't make
needs
you happy.
Content.
Yes. We need things. We're at home. We're in this digital world.
Yep.
Put it out there. Do not be scared. And if you like to consume, just, keep consuming my podcast. If you're a consumer, keep listening. Show the rest of your friends. Don't forget to rate and review this podcast if you have not yet. I'm looking for them. Please, please, please send me whatever I will read. One, I will read them on the podcast next. So let me see those reviews. I love, love, love seeing them. And take somebody's phone, iPhone, iPod, or computer and leave me a review. Rate it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with any of that. It helps so much. So that is it. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.